Welcome to Three Steps. This is the second part of a three-part interview with Zan Perrion. And actually, this is the first interview I ever did with Zan, and it's the first interview I did for this idea. The YouTube channel was barely in germination stage when I started doing this. So you get to see me figuring it out. Didn't have all the questions figured out yet, didn't have the interview process figured out yet, and I was definitely talking about myself a lot more than just interviewing the guy in front of me. It was a lot of bantering back and forth. Well, if you missed the first interview, click the link right here, and let's get inside. Hi, I'm John, obviously, and this is Zan.
Hi.
And who you are to me it's funny. When I first met you, you were definitely like a kindred spirit, because it's like we both have like that romantic thing, and you are a guy that teaches guys how to not just be romantic, but also how to be like embodied, like in here, not here. And it's when I look at your background and where you came from, it's not exactly similar, but there's a lot of through threads that, on my own early. Went out in the woods, did all that stuff, figured out girls, like totally like heart on the sleeve conversation. Like there's like similar beats. I'm like, fuck. And I also went through my man whore phase, and then I went through my that's not not pretty, and that's not how I want to show up. And I really have an appreciation and love for the beauty that is woman.
Right.
And then to hear you talk, man, I was like, fuck, that's it. So yeah. So I'm like, so the way I met you though was showing up with Johnny at one of your houses where you had guys.
Right.
Yeah. And so my context for you is kind of a guy who doesn't necessarily teach, but leads by example.
Oh.
So
that's a good way of saying it, because I've never thought of myself as some kind of a coach.
Yeah.
I don't know how to coach, but I sure believe in something, and I believe in something powerful, and the things that you just described. And all you can do is just tell your stories. I mean, I tell stories. That's how if I instruct at all, it's because, hey, you're gonna love this story, and here's another one, and this one, and this one. And if people can get a lesson from it or get some kind of insight from it, it's fantastic.
Right.
Right.
So why don't you tell them what it is you do?
Oh, okay. Well, you said it nicely. I'm Zan Perrion, and I've been trying to figure out girls my whole life. Since my 20s, I was completely lost. I went into the forest, like you said.
Yeah.
And my 20s, I tried to understand it. In my 30s, I started to get a bit of understanding. In my 40s, I wrote a book about it. And all I've been doing in the last 15 years or so, it's been that long? Wow. Yeah. Is I do public talks, and I do coaching. Well, there's the word coaching. I do seminars. I've done every permutation. I've done 3-day intensives. I've done week-long things. I've done 2-week things. I've done month-long immersion things. Done all kinds of stuff, and for men. And because I wanted to maybe give something to men that I didn't have when I was young.
Totally.
That's all it is.
That's what it boiled down for me too.
Yeah.
It's like the reasoning. It's funny because when I heard you talk about how you spontaneously started, like once you got it, you were just helping other guys, that is kind of the through thread for me, because like in my 20s, guys would see me being me, right, and be like, how do you do that?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't know.
Be yourself.
Be yourself. Well, the first thing I did, which is hilarious, is I be aware of your environment. Was the word that I browbeat them with. Like it was like the one fixed hammer for everything. Be aware of your environment. Be aware of your environment. Your environment could be anything. Be aware of this. Be aware of that. Pay attention to these things. Pay attention to the cues, the energy, the da da da. And it kind of was like a blanket thing. And I had a friend who was watching me help some guy, because I would actually spin some guys and get them going and have a good time. But one of my friends was like, he's like, you're talking to them like they know this shit already. It's unfair. And you're kind of talking down to them. And I'm like, oh, no. That's not what I want to do. Because if you want to be a teacher, you want to be a coach. I'm like, fuck no. I had no desire to be those things. But it's that storytelling.
Yeah, to me, that's why I like to learn. It's like people say, you know, how did you? Because I had a rough childhood, as you know, and people said, how did you resolve your childhood? Did you therapy? No, if I have any resolution for my childhood, it's because of literature and stories.
Yeah.
And stories of adventure. And if those guys, you know, could leave their destructive type of environment and go into the sea.
Yeah.
Then I could.
The turn of the last century guys,
Yeah.
the explorers, the guys that went up to Alaska, the guys that went down to Antarctica, the guys that explored Africa. Those books, that learning. I had a lot of that similar reading. It's funny to listen to you talk the first time about this kind of stuff. I was like, I did that. My God, we've done this. So like, good beats, man. But they powerfully impacted me. And so and it's like, so to see that you know have a fellow human who had a similar path, did his own way, and showed up in the world in a similar way. I'm like, see, this doesn't work.
Because the modern man, I mean, your whole thing is about reclaiming masculinity, right? And modern man, we're dragging around our childhoods behind us. Yeah. And we use it as our excuse and for all of our failings. Well, I didn't have this proper thing, and my mother was, you know, mean to me, but we've all had bad childhoods in all of history. Yeah. There's never been a good childhood right. in any culture, in any century, ever. There's always been disease, and, you know, daddy's dragged to war, and
famine,
and mama can't feed you, and
totally.
Right? And yet they made something of themselves. They created buildings, they created, you know, spaceships or whatever, right? Yeah. So it's that's how I see it anyway. Yeah, it's good. It's really good stuff. So how, if someone's interested in learning more about you, how can they find you? Well, I'm at my business, I guess you could say. My enterprise, my project is called Ars Amorata, ARSAMORATA, so arsamorata.com. And I'm Zan Perrion, zanperrion.com. I'm pretty easy to find. If you hunt around on the darker edges of the internet, you'll see me somewhere. Right on. Yeah. Cool. Well, thank you. Well, hey. Yeah, appreciate it, man. Absolutely. Yeah. All right. Take care. Thanks for watching. So, what'd you think? Different, right? So, I mean, I'm not doing those anymore, but I could. If you like the video, hit the like button. If you are interested in seeing more videos where I'm interviewing teachers and just them talking about what they do, leave a comment down below and I'll take it into consideration. Also, help us hit 100 subscribers. Hit the subscribe button, hit the bell for notifications, and by all means, join us in the Facebook group. All right, I'll see you on Friday.